Hey guys, it's Jason Enos again. Doing my thing again, of course. Sharing links and likes and all that good stuff. Um, Really quickly, just as a quick recap. This is going to be me working on the Copic marker piece, which I don't have in front of me. Figures that I didn't have it in front of me when I said that. Of Lynn Stanley, the cosplayer. Still working on that. I hope to get it finished today. I actually don't know why I didn't think of this before. Actually, I was thinking to myself, why did I not just use my wife's laptop for the picture? And that's what I did. I actually opened up my wife's laptop, downloaded the pictures, and I've got my laptop in front of my wife's laptop in front of me, and trying to see if I can find the links to share it to everybody. I'm going to tweet it to Copic in a second. I'm going to share it to my own page and to a couple other pages real quick. Mostly ECB Press Sketch a Day, and also I need to share it to Alice in Zombieland. In a group on a page I manage. Okay. And then I got Twitter it, which I will do in a moment. And also I need to go to, what do you call it? I got to share it to ECB digital webbing. There we go. Tweeted with Copic marker and Lynn Stanley already linked. Anyway, it just takes a minute to set up, guys. I'm so sorry. This is the boring part. This is certainly the boring part, is waiting for me to get this all set up. Digital webbing, forums. There we go. No, that'll be good. Make sure it transmitted to Twitter. Whoa, 9 tweets. Since I've got my wife's computer to have Twitter, and did it link my tweet yet? Trying to see if everything loaded up correctly. I try to tag the appropriate tags like Copic marker, Trixie Dynamite, so that everybody knows who's what, where, and when. Just so everybody's on the same page. Oh, Bishop kind of tagged me in. See, this is why I'm glad I do digital webbing, because every once in a while somebody will come in on digital webbing that oh, cool, wow, there's like 2 people watching from my previous ones. Cool. By the way, I don't know how many people are actually watching, because it always shows me like 1 or 2, and it seems like I get comments of like 5 or 6, and it doesn't add up in the math. Like, it says I have no viewers like right now. I mean, obviously I'm viewing myself, but I get the feeling I'm not seeing everybody, just because it seems like I'm checking my wife's computer while we're talking, see if it finally loaded my Twitter link. It just seems like in general it doesn't really show me every possible person that's viewing at one point, because I know at one point I only had 1 person at a time. Watching now, very cool, watching, and these both were occurred at the hour of, yeah, see, 11:51 and 12:12. At one point I only saw 1 person watching, so how did I have 2 people that I see mentioned they were watching, and yet my viewership only showed as 1? Google doesn't do funny. Google shows me like nobody's watching, but it seems like a lot of people are watching. So guys, if it seems like I'm like nobody's watching, it's because Google doesn't show me who's actually watching. And I don't know if it's because you have to be signed into Google for you to show up as a viewer or not. I don't care. Again, I'm not doing this so I get viewers. I'm doing this to share this with everybody else while I'm doing it anyway. Because I'm going to be doing it whether you're watching or not, and whether nobody watches the videos or not. I'm still doing it. and there's no point in me doing any kind of work and just letting it be lost to the atmosphere forever. I mean, I've got the final piece to show for it, but it's so much better, I think, to actually see somebody working on it as they go. I remember there was somebody on Digital Webbing that actually shared a really awesome live stream, and I might switch to live stream. I like Google Video a little bit better. The live streams, I don't know, it just seemed like they hammer you less for unauthorized audio, which would be fun to listen to music, but you know, it's not a necessity. I've done how many videos without listening to music? I don't need to listen to music, which is kind of funny because I used to need music to distract me. Anyway, back to the kind of the summaries. What I'm doing, like I said, this is the Lynn Stanley piece. I've got the photograph pulled up on my wife's computer so I can monitor that, and so I can monitor any kind of feeds or anything. And what I did earlier today was I did 2 inking demos. I did. Well, I should do 1 inking demo. I'm sorry. I plan to hopefully do one later tonight. This is my webcomic I do with Alice in Zombieland, which is at facebook.com/AliceInZombielandComic, where this is like the background of a cover I'm planning to do for the book. Earlier today, I did this, finished this. This is Trixie Dynamite number 4, issue 4, page 1, completely done. I got it scanned. All I want to do now is do a cleanup of that. I'll do that probably tonight as a watch my desktop demo. You won't see my face, but you'll hear my voice, and I'll be demoing how to clean it up in Photoshop. It is a simple process. I mean, Ben will have this page tonight. My editor, Ben. Anyway, to get back to what I was doing, I'll put these pages aside so I won't get them all messed up. And without further ado, by the way, this is my Alex Ross Joker Harley Quinn t-shirt. I always try to pick something nerdy to wear on these demos. But anyway, here's kind of a nice close-up, if I can get it really close up, of, I kind of saved some whites along the eyelashes. I might darken it down a little bit, but I like that highlight it gives on our eyelashes. But anyway, back here, let me see if I can throw some more light on it. Whoa, yellow light. Really kind of bright. Let me see if I can scale it back some. There you go. I mean, you got a good view of it on Facebook. I mean, DeviantArt. The link on DeviantArt is pretty easy to find. I mean, I put it in the description of the live feed of the video. It's going to take me a second to get the camera oriented, guys, so you can see something other than a very diagonal view of my kitchen. I want you to be able to see the actual artwork as best of an angle as possible. What I need is some kind of stopper. What I need is a better camera, but I don't have one. That's a pretty good angle. I wish I could get a little bit tighter of an angle on that. There we go. That's a little bit better. I have my Copics all set up over here. You can kind of see the tips of some of those. I got to close my distractions. One last check of Copic. Okay. Actually, guys, when Copic shared me, I had no idea until after the fact. Like, I didn't have any idea that I was being watched by anyone other than just general people until after the show was over with. And this is not letting me zoom. Right click. Open with regular picture photo viewer. Here we go. There we go. All right. I'm zooming in because I want to get started on her face, on her lips, because this is the only part that's really left to do, really, that's really in dire need of tweaking, is some parts of her face. So I got the cool gray markers out because I'm going to probably finish down here too. And I'm still debating if I want to do this little strand of hair here. I don't know if I want to do it. I've thought about it, but I'm thinking against it too. So that's one of those things I'm still thinking about up in the air. I'm also going to, while I'm thinking of it, I didn't like a shape I'd drawn earlier last week, I mean. I don't like the way this cuts in, so I'm going to kind of peek that out like that right there. There we go. I basically put it up at work and looked at it, and I was like, okay, what works, what doesn't? And that didn't work. Let me scoot this up some more so I can get a nicer view, kind of more overhead of it. Is that a better? Yeah, that's better, so you can get a better screenshot of it. And yeah, so another thing is too, I rotate the paper a lot so that it kind of mimics the flow of my hand a lot better. I'm kind of curious to know if Lynn Stanley actually tuned in to any of these. Lynn Stanley is the cosplayer that I'm drawing in this picture. The whole reason for me doing this piece was simply just because she seemed like a really cool person. I needed practice, and I thought, maybe she'll actually like it, like appreciate it. Because sometimes you draw a model or something, you're like, they'll never see it. And then you draw other things, and you're like, you draw it specifically for a person. And other times you're just like, I'm going to draw this, and the person seems like a nice person, so maybe they'll actually care that I did it. And that's kind of what I did with the Lynn Stanley, with the whole purpose of drawing her in the first place. I wanted a practice piece, and I'm like, she might like it. So I just shared it with her. It was just for the sake of, I wanted somebody to draw, and she seemed like she's a good model, and plus she seemed like a nice person too. So I was just like, even if all she does is appreciate it, that's cool. Even if she goes, wow, cool, somebody drew me. Cool. And that's what I wanted to do, because she seemed like a really nice person. So I was just like, if nothing else comes of it except that she says, thank you, that was cool, thanks for drawing me. That's all I wanted. I didn't want anything else from it. And then, like I said, a bunch of people shared and retweeted and favored it, and I was like, whoa, not what I wanted, not what I expected. It was awesome, but again, it wasn't like something I was shooting for, not at all. I just, like I said, it seemed like she was a real cool person, and I just said, you know what? I got a little marker on my outside of my case, and see that right there? It's going to get on my fingers if I'm not careful. She just seemed like a really cool person. It's like, she probably would appreciate it if I drew her. And she did, which is, like I said, what I was only hoping for. And then she retweeted it, which I wasn't expecting. And all the other stuff that came about from it. Anyway, let me switch to my W-2s, because I'm going to leave this on W-2. I might want to do a little bit darker here in this part here. That's another thing that kind of bugged me, was I wanted a nice dark in the center of the streak here. And this way too, like that. And for right now, I just want to bulk up some of the values of like the of her flesh tones right now for the most part. So I think the rest of it's pretty much done as far as her hair is concerned. Really just want to kind of bulk up some of the flesh tones more. Yeah, that's really good. See, there's a little bit of a tip of that, and there's a little bit of a streak right there too. Oh yeah, now it's starting to come together. See, I needed a good reference, and the printed reference wasn't the best reference of all. So I was like, okay, fail on plan A, but plan B was to get my wife's laptop out and have that simultaneously with it, so I can kind of use that as my reference, and it works pretty good. And let's see if I can get kind of a little bit choppy marks, so I can kind of fill in that. And then there's a little bit of like a gap there in her teeth there, where kind of her mouth comes together, which kind of makes sense. There's a little bit of their teeth is kind of, there's a little gap in her teeth, which is okay. I mean, it's like the canine indent. Not any kind of a natural gap or anything. It's just the canines, because they're not flat and flush like the incisors and the molars. And a little bit behind here. I don't want to go too dark because she's got very fair hair, very fair skin, and I don't want to go err in the favor of going too dark. She's got very, very fair skin. And the photograph I've got kind of bleaches out her complexion a little bit extra too. But I've seen other pictures of her. She's very, very much kind of that Snow White kind of complexion. It's like really white skin and really dark hair, kind of that balance between the two. So if it does wind up looking a little bit kind of on the bleach, a little bit brighter side, I don't think I'm going to be too upset, because it's not a characteristic of what she looks like, from what I've seen anyway. I've never met her in person, I don't think, unless she went to Heroes Con, but I doubt that, since she's mostly on the West Coast. Really don't think she found her way on the East Coast. Anyway, I'm gonna take my W1 and kind of bulk up some of the undershadows here. There's a little bit of a kind of a shadow pocket right here where her eye socket comes in, which, again, kind of makes sense. It'll dry a lot lighter too, because I don't want it to be too bold on these colors. I'm really just trying to touch up some spots, make them a little bit darker. This is the 3, and you can see the 3 is almost dried out. My 3 is almost completely dried out. And there's a lot of a shadow pocket right there. And a little bit down here, underneath the bottom part of the lip. And it kind of spreads out a little bit down there. A little bit of streak there. I don't want to get too precious with these little these additions. I don't get kind of make it too spotterific, or it looks too pointillistic. And I'm afraid of going way too dark on this, because I will tend to push the values a little bit darker. Yeah, that's not so bad, because the mouth of this picture is not very dark at all anyway. And let's do a little bit of this too. There we go. I don't know, that's not so bad. It does get really dark underneath this part of her chin, though. Am I on 2? Yeah, I need to switch to 3. It does get super dark on the under part of her chin, where her chin comes into the neck, and a part pocket back here gets really dark too, of course, because that's where the shadows of her hair come in. Again, it's one of those struggles where you have to go, okay, how dark do I go without going too dark? I think I'm going to bump this little spot right here up to 4. But I think that might be the darkest I go on that part of things. Maybe a little bit here. Okay. Another thing I'm worried about is kind of hurting the tip of the pen, but usually it's very hard to kind of corrupt one of these tips, which is nice. Which is another thing I love about the Copics. I'm still debating what I'm going to do about soften that edge a little bit. Still trying to debate what I'm going to do about the still going to debate. Yeah, there's really not much. I might do a little bit of a dark touch in this part of her mouth, like right here. But I don't want to go too much darker than that. I mean, you want to be darker inside the tip of the mouth, but much darker than that, and it'll look kind of out of place. A little bit of a 3 on the upper lip. Kind of a little zigzaggy motion there. And I'm still trying to debate getting the rest. This is the 3, isn't it? Yeah. Let me use the 1 to kind of unify some of this stuff together. Stroking it down. Kind of blend some of it together. All right, that's starting to look pretty good. I'm thinking about darkening down some of the values here on this sweep, and I'm still trying to debate if I want to go ahead and don't like some of the hard edges right here, so I'm going to blade it out. Still trying to debate what I'm going to do with the that one little streak that we got there right here. If I want to draw it, I'm thinking about taking it out completely. Let me grab my eraser real quick. You do things to keep true to the picture that you look at later and you're like, you know, it's not really necessary, and I think it'd be visually distracting. I like the simplicity of keeping our hair in less of a tangle. And I like what happens here, but I think this part is unnecessary. So let me go ahead and erase that out. And Let me grab some W1 because I want to kind of draw it like this. And kind of fade it out a little bit. It's hard to fade on the Bristol. The Strathmore responds to it better, as I mentioned in my previous video. It really does respond better. I don't like Bristol as a surface for Copic, and I wish I'd remembered that before I started this drawing. The Strathmore paper is a much better paper for this, I think. I think Bristol's a more utilitarian paper, and I think Copic is much better on a more artistic paper. Because that's not just me boasting about how great I think Copic is. It's because I think it deserves a higher quality of paper than the generic Bristol. That is a personal opinion, which I really think it's much better to draw Copic on a regular drawing paper surface than a marker surface. I don't know. I've never had good luck with markers on Copic. I mean, markers on Bristol. And again, that's not a slight to the markers. That's a slight to the Bristol surface. I'd rather have a nicer surface than. I knew this video would be short, but I think I'm almost done, actually. I don't know how much more I want to do with this piece. So if I start picking at too much, I might ruin it. And I don't want to ruin it. I want it to be nice. There's a certain point where you just it starts being stops being fresh and starts being kind of stale. You know, starts kind of being like what's the word I'm looking for? Overworked. And I don't want to get that overworked look on this piece. I tend to do that, and I don't want to do that with this one. Yeah, I do want to kind of bulk up some of the darks on this part of it. It doesn't need to be bulked up, but I kind of like it a little bit darker there. All right, not too bold, not too bold, not too bold. Grab the C7. I really should get a C9 as well, but I haven't really had use of any kind of other colors aside from the warm grays for the most part. This is the first time I've drawn a model with dark hair with these. Well, I did the Megan Fox, but I want to do that more in a monotone kind of look. So there really wasn't much occasion to use a cool gray with her because the picture itself is already all warms. So I was like, if I switch to a cool gray, it's going to look obvious. So I really haven't much chance to use my cool gray since I bought them last year at Heroes Con, except this piece. I like to fade it out some, so I'm going to switch to a different color marker. Yeah, I like that kind of rough, like it's been watercolored look. I'm still kind of trying to look at it, see what kind of things I should do with it. Another thing that's really cool to do is to, I don't know if you've tried this before, is kind of wet the entire area and then go in with the marker, which is what I'm going to try right now without getting any kind of problems, hopefully. And it kind of feathers it out really nicely. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I like that. And then what it kind of does is it'll fade it out eventually. And then sometimes I'll go back in with the marker. Sometimes, again, I try not to overwork it, but it does kind of give you a nice kind of bleed effect too, which I'm going to try for right now on the bottom side of her neck. A nice smoother blend. Sometimes using the colorless blend to wet the paper causes a nice effect. And I like what I'm doing, but I'm just not 100% satisfied with the mouth just yet. I'm getting close. I know it. I'm feeling like getting really close. I don't want to. Again, I don't want to overwork it. I mean, I knew that today's video would be really short, but I had no idea how short. Once I got my photo reference out, I was like, oh, this is not going to take me long at all. Now that I can see where I'm going and not trying to guess at it, like I was the other time when I had the somewhat okay printout, but not the great printout. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's nice. That fade's really nice there. I'm on 4. I have to switch to 5 to kind of get some of those lighter values in. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I'm liking the blend a little bit better now. That's the one thing I was worried about was the blend of that. Here we go. That's also good too. Yeah, she's getting close. She's getting real close now. That's one thing I tend to do in a lot of my student work was overwork stuff. So my more mature stuff, now that I'm more of a mature artist, I'm like, let me not overwork it, because I do tend to overwork stuff quite a bit. I have a tendency to want to go to the photorealistic. I love the photorealists, especially like Chuck Close. I like Chuck Close now, even though he's less photorealistic and more expressionist. But Estes, Close, those guys, I would fall into the trap of being too easily a photorealist for the sake of just being photorealistic. And I've seen photorealistic paintings recently in the High Museum in Atlanta, and it surprised me how like unrealistic they are point blank range, but from a distance they just blend together. So there is a lot more craftsmanship that goes into photorealistic paintings than just, oh, I'm just going to copy the photograph. It's a lot of artistic shorthands and just in general stuff that you wouldn't expect for a piece that's supposedly photorealistic. You look at it up close, it's like, wow, it's just like paint on a canvas. It really does. What they do to achieve the photorealistic look is a lot different than you might expect until you see it up close. But at the same time, I don't think that's an area I need to be working in. I'm very obsessive compulsive about a lot of things, and one thing I don't need to be obsessive compulsive with is my art, because I think that would be a danger for me and for those that love me. So I try to leave things a little bit looser, so I don't lose my mind as far as getting absorbed too much into a piece. More spots. I wonder where they're coming from. One of my markers might have a leak in it. It's kind of one of my markers is kind of been banged around a lot. I wonder which one it is. It's about the C4 or C5 values, but well, I'll have to do detective work and figure that out because it's the only one that's doing it. What was I going to do? I'm way off the edge of the map, guys. Sorry. Let me try doing a little bit more kind of like hair work down here. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. Okay, nope, this way. That's a cool effect right there. Where I just keep stroking over it so the hairs kind of come out on its own. Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted right there. Switch to the 5 again. I'm going to try to bulk up this kind of the underside of this curve here. Not too much, but enough so it makes this curve kind of pop out a little bit more. And then I want to leave it be, I think. Maybe a little. No. 4. 5 will be too dark. Yeah, that was a good call there. Whew. Every once in a while, I make the right decision off the top of my head. And the more I work with these markers on a daily basis, I think the better I would get. Problem is, I don't often have the time afforded to really dive, head first into the markers between my work schedule and my other art endeavors that I would work on. But I know it would be worth it in the long run. Let me get some one. Switch to the blender. Figure it out. And And my wife's laptop falls asleep, and as it does, it kind of gets a little lighter as it goes, which is kind of odd. Well, it loses contrast is what happens. It kind of grays out and dims the monitor, so I have to kind of wake it up every once in a while. Well, it's kind of a nice texture. It wasn't what I was shooting for. But it's nice. Another thing is she does have a cheek texture, which, not texture, but cheek shading, which I will try to get in correctly. I wet the paper sufficiently, that should be good. And if I go to like W0, hopefully this will be. Switch to 1. Switch to 1. And now 0. Try to wet blend it in. That looks nice. Gives you a little bit of a cheekbone. And I think I might kind of try to sneak back here and see if I can get a little bit more color on this back area too. Wet into wet like this. I might get too dark. She's, like I said, very fair-skinned. Just kind of bolster it up a little bit, spread it out, bleed it out a little bit more. I don't want to bleed it into the hair, so I don't want to lose the crispness of the hair edge. Or start blending blue grays into her face. Let's see. What other things can I do to make it bulk up a little bit more? I need a little bit of extra oomph on the underside of her nose. So I'm going to probably take a little bit of this and kind of shrink it in there. There we go. Just a little bit there. There we go. Just kind of increase your face sculpturally. And like that. And like that. And I think we're getting close to having this piece finished. Like I said, I can nitpick this all day if I wanted to, and I know I will, so I'm trying to stop myself before I do. There we go. Let me see if I can take some. There we go. Ouch, I just pinched my skin in the cap. That wasn't fun. That was definitely not fun. All right, I had a message on Facebook, guys, so I'm going to take a break while I let the marker dry and see what's going on. No. Whoever's watching, again, I appreciate it. Those I see and those I don't. But anyway, I think I'm almost done. I like a lot of the fades, but there's a couple of fades I don't quite appreciate yet. Like that one there. Get some 5 on that. Much better. And I don't like that big streak of black right down the middle of it. I'm going to have to add another black streak in there. So it's not like one streak of black. There we go. I don't like that being so bold, so let me blend that out with some 7. I don't know. I've never had much need for 9 because it's like once it gets past 7, it's like it's almost black to me. Again, I don't think I've got a very good eye for darker values, so sometimes I blend them into my eye, and it's just like I've never had use much of my 9. And part of the problem with my 9 is, as I've showed you in the last video, when I ordered it from my art company, they sent me the square one, not the brush tip kind, not the sketch, and I kind of bummed about that because I really wanted the brush tip on the 9, and I was like, oh boy. Let me go ahead and kind of fill in that eyelash because it's kind of standing out a little bit too much to me. So let me go ahead and kind of fill in that gray, that color, so it's not as bold. I don't think I liked it as much bold. I mean, you can still see it. The point is to separate it out from the background. And the thing is, it stood up too much in the background, in my opinion. Toss some of those in there. Toss some of your hairs here. Okay. The other thing is, too, I didn't carry her lip nearly as far as it should go. I erred in favor of being not so bold, but her lip comes up quite a bit. It actually comes up to there. So I can actually kind of blend it out more. And go to 2. And draw that back in. Bolden in some of the darks. So the lip kind of comes down really severe. Right there. Let's see if I can put that. There's a hard line right there first. And then there's another little bit of a shadow pocket behind it, and that's why I got confused with some of the photo reference. There's a pocket right here of shadow beyond the regular line of the shadow of her eyelid. So I'm kind of like dancing it all around and trying to like, looking at it. Kind of nice upside down. That's another thing too. Sometimes I'll turn it upside down. I'm like, this too, that as well, and this as well. And I keep saying those things, sorry. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and zoom in, look at it upside down. Helps me judge the values a little bit better sometimes when you see it from a different angle. Blend that in, nice. Like that. Yeah, I need to be a little bit darker on the underside of her lip. 3, I think, is what I need to go up to, maybe. And a little bit on the corners of that, too. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's a pretty strong likeness. It's another thing, too, I'm judging against what I know of her face. Trying to create a likeness on top of just being, oh, okay, it looks like a cool drawing. No, I'm also trying to create a good likeness, too, which luckily it's got enough photographs online that it's not hard to kind of figure out what she looks like from different angles, but in this case, I've got a pretty good likeness of her in the picture, too. Well, kind of more of a practice piece than it is like necessarily a hard and fast likeness. But again, I do want to capture her likeness while I'm at it, too. It's kind of part of the point of the practice is to make sure I can capture her likeness on top of that, too. This is my warm gray one, so. I'm holding it from a distance, guys. Sorry. Let's see how dark that is. I can't remember how dark I went right here. If I went to C7 here or not. I think I did. It looks like I did. I want to be a little bit darker on this edge here. I'm just not liking the way this is. Seems like it could be darker right here. That's why I'm kind of concerned. Try to bring some 5 and put it along this edge here. Take some 5 and sneak it back this way. That's much better. Oh, cool. I didn't mean that to be a hair, but it looks like a hair. Okay. Layer it up a little bit darker. Again, I don't want to be too dark, but at the same time, I don't want to be too light either. Switching to 7. Trying to get some of these darker streaks, kind of blend out that black a little bit, because it's a little too harsh to be black too far down. Kind of blending out some of the black on it. Switch to 4. The line there's a little too dark. Kind of catch up some of that, kill some of that hard edge along there. And probably switch to 3 to blend some of that into this white spot here. Yeah, it's much better. Sometimes I try to preserve whites with black hair highlights. You're not going to have very much white. You can have light, but you're not going to have very much white. And sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I just go, white. Highlights equal white. No, they don't. And I don't like ramp up some of the darks again. Whoops. Trying to think how much more I want to do. I'm thinking about darkening in this corner because this is dark and it's kind of outweighing it, which is why I wish I had the 7 and 8 now. Come to think of it, because I don't want quite 7, but I don't want quite black either. It only goes so black, only goes so dark with 7, and I don't want to switch to black. I guess that's where the 9 would be helpful. A nice rich dark without going too black. Let's see if another layer of 7 will just darken it up just enough to make it look good. Just to kind of darken it even one step further. Another thing is, too, I don't like how white that streak is right there. Make it fade in there. That's a better line. Okay. Oh boy. I need to kind of meld that in. Switch to 4 again. I think part of the problem is you got so many hard lines in these light streaks. If I soften up the hard edges that distinguish where the highlights start, that would help some. Yeah, that does help a lot actually. So it's not so much, hey, look, a hard-edged highlight. It's more like a, oh, look, a softly blended set of hair. So yeah, softening up the edges helps usually a lot. Switch to 5. Might need to be 7 at this point. I'm using the chisel point just right. Switch to 7. Yeah, switching to 5 again. Do the tips there. All right. Where am I at in this drawing? Pretty close to being happy with it. I might decide to make some changes after the fact, but thinking of the changes I make at this point will be so minuscule it's not even worth recording on video. I think it might be time to kind of do a high res and clean it up. You know, clean up all the little bits that kind of got away from me. It might be that stage, folks. By the bits that got away, I mean like these little dots of whatever that is. Let me take a step back from it for a second, guys. Straighten up my markers so they're in order, so if I come back to it and grab the wrong one, I don't know why I grabbed it. Let me tip it up. I'm going to take out screen for a second, guys. I want to tip it up so I can look at it from an angle, kind of head on. Well, that's the sunlight in the way. I got the sun behind me, so I'm trying to see if I can kind of prop it up like on an easel and look at it. I really think this needs to be darker here. Like, not all the way darker, but I think I need some streaks down here to kind of cement it in. To make this curve right here, you're not seeing it, I'm sorry, folks. This curve right here to make that push back, make this curve push back, I need to put something for it to sit on. Like that. And then grab my 7 and make part of it sit down like that, and then just kind of fade this out. Take the 5, kind of kill that hard edge that's forming right there. And can you see that okay? 1 second, guys. A quick message, so I'm going to take another step back from it for a second while I get my message. Oh, okay. Well, might be just as well. I forgot how much time's got away from me. It's actually been about an hour that I've worked on this. I'll probably do a quick scan, clean it up. Nothing special in my cleanup process on this. It's just going to be photoshopping out some of the little spots of ink that I don't know where they came from. So I probably won't do a video on that. I probably will do a video tonight if I remember of how to clean up a comic book page. So there's some. Yeah. And that. It's really fun working with these markers because it's the next best thing to painting, really it is. And I kind of miss painting, but painting takes a long time to get set up, to clean up, all that good stuff. So in lieu of me getting involved in a big oil painting, this is the next best thing. Only thing I miss is having a big fat wide brush, but I don't need to be anything big fat and wide as far as painting goes right now. So that would I'd probably make a bigger mess with it than I would need to make. I mean, this is a good sketch. I want it to be a little bit better than just a plain ordinary sketch, though. So I'm kind of picking it apart a little bit more finer points. Again, I'm kind of picking it apart more than I probably should, but again, I'm going to take another step back. I always take more steps back when I know I'm close, because again, the fear is to overwork it. The eyelashes are staring out really dark, but I think it's because I'm overreacting. Yeah, let me take some one and kind of sneak it along that edge of her eyelashes kind of deal. Yeah, like that. That's nice. And then this little bit here. That little pocket there. Just kind of darken there. I'm like I said, at this point I'm nitpicking. I'm thinking I'm about ready to call it a finished drawing because I'm going to start nitpicking to the point where I start looking at look like it's. You know, so I'll lose the freshness, and I don't want to lose that. Switch to my one. I might need to get a refill to zero because I'm really missing the zero right now. My zero is about dead. That tapping is me thinking out loud, tapping the marker on the counter. I think I'll call it a day for right now. I'm just trying to see if it's going to be anything else I want to do, and I think I'm going to pick it apart. Well, if I scan it, I'll see something that's wrong with it, and then maybe I'll change it. But for right now, I think there's nothing much I can do with it. I think I'm just going to pick apart stuff that doesn't need to be picked apart. Anyway, let me kind of get up here again. Yeah, I really, really think I'm going to be thinking about it too much and picking it apart more than it needs to be. Here is kind of what it looks like setting up. Yeah, it looks really good, nice sideways. I'm picking it apart right now again. Can you see? Sharpening in some of the corners. Like where her neck kind of sits in. Which is kind of a nice kind of thing to emphasize and push pull. Push pull is like what comes forward, what goes backward. I'm like showing you my head, top of my head as I finish some details, right? You know, it's not really good. Sorry, folks. What I did was I kind of, oh boy. Let's see if I can get that fixed. It's gonna matter. I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, I'm gonna pick this apart, but I need to. Anyway, what I do is I tweak some of the little pockets where her neck is, so it makes the neck kind of stand out a little bit more. Is there a big shadow? I'm pulling up a picture while we're talking. Trying to find a picture. Oh, I closed the picture. That's right. Blah. Bummer. Her computer's calibrated to do something really weird with pictures, which I'm not used to. And rotate. Yeah, there's no shadows. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll leave it like this for right now, and then if I scan it, I see something I need to fix, I'll tweak it. Putting it up, just looking at it right now, beside the photograph, I'm looking at it going, I'm nitpicking, really. I don't like the way one line resolves in her Wonder Woman hat. I haven't liked it for a while, and that is this little line here. I straightened it out. You can tell right now. Yeah, you can tell that. See how it's straightened out? I don't like the way it curved in. It led your eyes in the wrong places. Anyway, I'm going to do a quick scan of this, share it on my DeviantArt page, which is at BauerPower2477 at .deviantart.com, but I'll also share a link to my Twitter. I'm sure a lot of you people found me through probably my Twitter. And I'll share this, now it's about what I think finished. I'll probably share it on my Jason Enos comic art Facebook page, now that I think I'm about happy with it. One other thing I see, again, it's easier to see it in the camera because it distances myself from it a little bit. Is there's like a streak up underneath this kind of hair curve that I don't think was intentional. You can kind of see it right here, right there. There's kind of looks like there's a dark line streak that didn't really kind of meld in. And what I'm doing is, let me see if I can turn the camera back down, is I'm kind of trying to soften up the edge there of that. So it's not like big, thick line up underneath the hair curve. And it's kind of working some. Yeah, it's a little bit better. The problem is it's a uniform thickness, and that's never a good recipe for an interesting line. It's not a very descriptive line when it's uniform thickness. Uniform thickness to me describes boring. Oh yeah, good. I got you down. We can see it. And it's really not trying to describe a line except the shadow beneath that hair streak, which it wasn't describing that very well either. And so we're going to take this into them. Good. Cool. Well, I think it's about done. Let me take another second look at it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not sure about that light streak down here. Now I'm like looking, it's a little too light. Yeah, I might fade it a little bit, put a 3 on it. Kind of kill the contrast. Because the other thing, fading out is more than just making colors lighter. It's also kind of killing the contrast too. Yeah, that's much better. Look at that. Whoops, let me see. Yeah, it stands out a lot less, which is nice. Yeah, yeah, that's looking good. Looking at that white streak on top of her head. Yeah, I'm going to tone that down. That's way too bright. Let's start with 2. Oops, sorry. Here I'm like, let me just draw. You can see the top of my head. Two. Still too dark. I mean, still too light. I mean, switch to 3. Switching to 4. And hit that down a little bit. All right, and let's do one little kind of like blending bit right here with the 4, so it's not like hard edged in some places. Switch to a 3. I'm trying to drop them back in the order I put them down, I picked them up in, so it's easier to just go, oh, okay, that's where I've dropped it. So this next one next to it's gonna be the right color. Sometimes I'm off by a shade when I drop them down in the position, so I'm gonna go, okay, rearrange. Oh, you can't really see that really well, can you? I'm sorry. All right, I think we're done. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, I might tone down this streak right here on the side of her face, right here. While I'm doing that, let me tip the camera up so you can see it better. There you go. Oops. There we go. Can we get it? There we go. No. There we go. This streak here, I'm going to probably hit it with some 3. It's not already at 3 level. It's not. Hit this back here with some 4. So it's not just standing out screaming, hey, look at me, I'm a white streak. So there's no white streaks in black hair. I'm just erring in the favor of going too light. Is what happened. Let's see. Maybe I've gone too dark on it, but I think I'll be all right. Almost looks like an oxymoron. I think I've gone too dark with the black hair. And it almost seems like I've gone too light with the black hair for the most part. So I got my error on the side of being maybe a little bit too dark. As long as I don't just take heavy-handed to the black, I think we're okay. And we're lightening up the streaks. me take a look at the camera. Four. Oops, let me tip it up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna fuss it apart. I think I'm gonna fuss about it too much. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually shut everything down. I think I'm in a good stage right now. I'm really happy with what came out so far. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a finished piece. As I say, as I pick up another marker to kind of tweak a little bit more. Like I said, I will tweak it too much. So what I'll do is I'll scan it. I'll put it on DeviantArt, clean it up a little bit, like I said, clean up little spots that spattered for no reasons. Put it probably in Photoshop. I'll probably do like a nice high quality scan so that you can kind of see the marker. I'll light help it hurt. There we go. That's a much better color. And then what I'll do is I'll share it on Twitter and probably eventually my eventual Facebook on my Facebook art page, my Jason Enos comic art. That's facebook.com/Jason Enos comic art, ENOS. Jason Enos comic art, so that you can kind of see what it looks like. It won't be the high res because the high res won't share on Facebook. It'll be like a low res. But I'll share that on Facebook. It'll go up on DeviantArt first because that's where you can do the highest resolution, and then I'll put a link on Twitter, share a low res copy on Facebook, and continue working. I think this piece is about done. I don't usually sign my pieces. I won't sign this because I don't know where to sign it. No, I'm still not happy with the signature yet. I'm still working on a good signature. My name isn't really conducive to signing. It's all these it's straight lines and curves only. It's like E, which is all right angles, N, which is all like 45-degree angles usually. O, a complete circle, and an S, which is a curve, which is ridiculously. It's not like it can. It's even my initials JE. It's like a hook with a line and 4 lines. Not very exciting. At least Adam Hughes, he gets to do AH and be like I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's a very good name to sign. So that's why I don't sign my pieces, because I haven't worked on a signature that I'm happy with yet. But anyway, I'm still thinking about that round corner where her hair is. I'm fussing about is what I'm doing. Let me go ahead and stop here. I'll try to be on tonight. I'll probably clean up my comic book page. Possibly I'll ink that Allison's Zombieland page, the cover that I'm going to be doing, the cover. Inking the background trees. I don't know if I'll do that live. Depends on what happens tonight personally with me. But it's about 3 hours of video today. But anyway, this will be up online soon. And like I said, I'll definitely do a live demo, which you don't have to watch live, because like I said, this all tapes. I will do a live demo of how I clean up a comic book page. Now that I actually have a page that's new that I need to clean up, that I need to send to Ben tonight, my editor for Trixie, I'll send it out tonight. Show you how to do that via a YouTube feed like this. Well, anyway, I'll cut it off because it's been about an hour. Guys, thanks for tuning in again. I will put new links at Digital Webbing, Twitter, Facebook, when I do the demo tonight of how to clean up the page. How to clean up a comic book page with blue pencil that's got blue pencil on it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for seeing me on the video afterwards, and have a good day.